Okay, we'll start this meeting of the Jericho Select Board on May 4th at 6:30 p.m. And as usual, we start with public to be heard. We have no public here, so is there anybody in Zoom that wishes to say something for public to be heard? And this is for issues that are not on the agenda.
Hi, we have something to say.
Okay, would you state your name for the record, please, then?
Yeah, so my name's Katrina. This is Lily.
Hi.
We're senior nursing students from the University of Vermont, and for our public health practicum, we worked with All Together Now, which is an organization providing Huntington, Bolton, Jericho, Underhill, and Richmond with accessible mental health resources for local youth and adolescents. In a recent 2023 survey of the MMU high school student body, it was found that 33.3% of students wanted more mental health resources and support. So we're here today to bring awareness to All Together Now.
Yeah, and we have 3 requests for the select board. We would like the link for All Together Now website or ATN Find Help from your town, like on your town website if possible. We know that Richmond already linked it on theirs. We were hoping you would contribute funds toward the continuation of the All Together Now youth well-being interns and program activities. And we would hope that you to commit a member of the select board or planning commission to be part of ATN advisory board. The time commitment is 1 meeting per month. Thanks for your time.
You all might mention, isn't May mental health awareness month?
Oh, is it?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it is.
I didn't know either.
Yeah, May is meant. Yeah, at least that's what I know. Or had heard that it is mental because of my husband. But
yeah, there you go.
But it is, as I believe, it is Mental Health Awareness Month, and it makes sense that your request then comes in at an appropriate time for adolescents and their mental health needs, particularly given what COVID and the pandemic have done to them as much as anything. So we can't make an action item of public to be heard, but we can bring it up at another meeting to talk about what we can do in terms of the funding and things like that. Because that does require it to be on the agenda. But putting on the website.
That's what I was just going to ask. It seems like I think we can do that, right?
Yeah, we can do that.
We emailed a sheet of information over as well.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Katrina, did you already email that? And if so,
yeah,
to who?
We emailed it last week. I don't know. Nobody responded though.
Oh, okay.
It would have come from a Selah.
Oh.
What's the name?
It would be Selah Cronin was the name, I think.
Selah Cronin. Okay.
Yeah.
If it did come, it may have made it into a spam folder.
Oh yeah, because it's an unknown address.
Yeah. And again, it's All Together Now.
Yeah.
I can look
for
your contact, and what I can do is if you have information that we can link through the website, I'll put you in contact with our website manager. Her name's Sabina Ernst, and we can stay in communication about that. In terms of agenda for next meeting, is there a specific funding allocation you're seeking for intern support?
All that we're aware of is Richmond gave about $5,000, so I think probably around there if possible.
Okay.
Wow.
So, and again, I have no decision-making authority, but what I would say for the future is most of our third-party partner organizations that the town supports are voted into the budget in the typically at town meeting. So it helps to have a budget proposal for the coming fiscal year, typically sometime in the fall in October.
Okay.
That's usually the time of year where our assistant town manager reaches out to all those organizations, confirms contact, confirms funding request amounts. So that's just kind of an FYI.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so if you can include in your information what the again what the allocation request is and what it's going to be used for, the select board will have that in front of them for their next meeting.
Okay.
And then we'll ask the usual question: can we? Is there money in budget for it?
Yeah. Thanks for all you do. It sounds like great work to be involved in as students.
It really does. It's important.
Yeah,
Have a good evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Katrina and Lily, I just want to say thank you for coming. I'm actually the director of the undergraduate nursing program at UVM, and it was just serendipitous that I was here today. But Lily and
for heaven's
Katrina
sake.
good job. I will be informing your instructors. No, I just want to say that they'll be graduating in about 2 weeks. So congratulations to both of you. And I don't want to see this ball drop. So feel free to email me as well, and I can kind of carry this on if there's a formal proposal that has to come forward in the fall. So I really appreciate you two coming and doing this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. That's right. I mean, well, it kind of goes hand in hand with what, you know, the volunteers are trying to do for folks who may not have enough funding, but without, you know, showing that they don't, you know, the spot next door with
the teen program.
The teen program. It's not a program per se, but it's a place to get together, to buy things, to, you know, to stuff. But, you know, this kind of goes hand in hand with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if I could twist my husband, because it almost seems like work if I did. I think you represent the town, because you were adolescents were his favorite.
Oh, really?
Especially adolescent boys. They were just the hardest. Nobody else wanted to work with them. All righty. Is there any other public to be heard that is not any discussion that is not on the agenda? Nothing. Okay. So we'll move right on then to consider the Jericho Town Forest Grant, and that's Katrina Daly.
Karina Daly.
Karina, oh.
It's tough to follow. It's tough for Karina to follow Katrina. That's
Yes, it is.
If you had a nickel for every time you've been called Katrina, right, Karina?
Yeah, I've been called Katrina a lot, and I'm used to it. It's okay. I can handle it.
Yeah, oh, good, because last night was the first night I got the Regional Planning Commission senior planner correct, because we have Tyler.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's Tyler, but he's Taylor.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, you know, it's tough.
It's tough. I'm used to it. Yeah, Karina is another one that happens a lot, or Christy.
Yes. Anna Karina, or whatever it was. All right, Karina. All right, so what have you got for us then?
So the good news, you guys, last time I was before the select board, you approved my moving forward with seeking funding, or the Jericho Conservation Commission moving forward with seeking funding for a feasibility study and concept design for the Jericho Town Forest dam removal. And the good news is we applied for that grant and received funding, and it's through the DEC, Department of Environmental Conservation's Clean Water Funds, which are administered through Watersheds United Vermont, which is a nonprofit organization that manages their dam removal block grant. And so we applied. We reached out to an engineering firm to obtain like an estimate of costs for the work that we had proposed, which was that feasibility study with concept design. And we applied for $42,000, $40,000 for the professional services and $2,000 for the administrative piece. We received $32,000. And that, to be clear, the range from the engineer was between 30 and 40. So I asked for the higher end and we got the lower end, which I think is fine. And then there's an additional $2,000 of in-kind
of my time leverage funds in my professional work at Vermont Natural Resources Council, removing dams. So the idea here is that I would support this grant and support the administrative piece to the extent possible, and the construction oversight, the engineering oversight and design and management of it, in partnership with, I believe John is going to take this on versus Linda, but we had that discussion earlier. So
Okay.
So that's the good news. And it's exciting that we have this little pot of money to move this forward. And yeah, I'm happy to answer any other questions.
So once will this happen this year then?
This could happen this year. So the next step is to sign the grant agreement. So that would be, I believe, John as the authorized representative to sign the grant agreement with Watersheds United. And then we have to put the project out to bid professionally, because it's I guess we have to follow the town of Jericho's procurement policy.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
So you put it out to bid, actually.
So we put it out to bid, I'm assuming at 30,000, or with that amount of money to spend. I wouldn't recommend that we actually say how much money we have.
No, you don't. You just put it out to bid,
Right.
And then you hope for the best.
Yes. So we put it out to bid, and happy to help with that process. I have lots of the templates as far as bid documents to release, and yeah, so we could move along with that and hopefully get the work started this summer.
That's
But
true.
again, it's just, it's just design and feasibility. So for the
Right.
most part, that's a desktop exercise with some field site visits and meetings. And then, but potentially we could be, moving into the next phase if everything looked good and it made sense to move this project forward for final design this winter. And then, and optimistically we could remove the dam in 2024, but that, that's checking a lot of boxes between now and then. So we'll see.
The town and the Conservation Commission are very lucky to have you on their committee, that's for sure, because this is certainly very helpful.
Not
Thank
just
you.
because you're an awesome person, Karina. You've got skills.
So you got skills, that's exactly right, and templates.
Templates. I'm excited just to, for the community to be educated about dam removals and the benefits of reconnecting rivers. And this is a good project to get started, because there are some even bigger projects in Jericho that maybe someday could gain traction. So
Wow.
Yeah, it's good.
That is interesting.
Good promotion. There's a lot of interest in that particular area, as you know, gets heavily used, and there's a lot of passion for the area.
Yes, I know. I was actually at a track meet earlier today with the Lamphere family, and
great.
They bike in that area all the time. They're like, I know exactly which dam you're talking about. That's exciting. Cool. So
that's great in there. Karina, I was going to say, if you want to reach out at some point next week, we can get Paul has done a lot of the posting of RFPs.
Okay.
She can kind of help guide us as to what publications we should put it in, whether it's the Free Press or 7 Days.
Vermont Bid Systems is what we use. I don't know if
is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you do it through the state supported site.
Yep, that way it just gets to every engineer possible.
Gotcha. Okay, so it's not an open RFP.
No, well, I mean, I think that's pretty open, isn't it?
Right. I meant that it's not like for other types of projects we've published in those areas.
And we could do that too. Like, I would love to put it in 7 Days or wherever you think, just to get the word out. So happy to do, however.
Yeah, there might be a smaller engineer or something that doesn't do, as much through the bid system, that might see it locally.
Yeah. And in the past, like, we definitely, whether it's not always, I don't know what Jericho's procurement policy is, so we'll see, but it's not necessarily always the low bidder, but also those that check the references and have the experience with the type of work. And I don't know, I do like to hire locally to the extent possible. So sharing that, but and then I think that's about it. So there is some paperwork, John, that you need to do with Watersheds United, and I'm happy to facilitate that or organize a meeting to help you with that piece.
Great.
And then we can go on to the bid piece.
Excellent.
Karina, how many companies are out there that do that type of work that you would expect to bid? I mean, are there?
Well, so there's the companies that do the design, the engineering firms, and then there's the contractors that do the actual dam removal. So those are the two different firms that I'm working with regularly in this type of work. And as far as local engineering firms that have the experience, like local, I mean Vermont, that have this experience, there's only unfortunately, there's only a small amount. There's about 4 of them. That doesn't mean that other engineering firms aren't capable, but with certain projects, we want to make sure they have the experience in the background to do a good job. There are other firms, certainly there's a lot of firms in the country, and they will put in bids for Vermont. So other firms are trying to establish get experience here because there's a lot of federal funding right now for this type of work.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I do like to have deference to Vermont firms, but also sometimes it's just what it is. So I'm just sharing that.
Yeah,
That's interesting. Yeah.
And then with contractors, there is a lot more contractors that have this experience and are getting this experience. I have a job in Shrewsbury, Vermont, where we got 10 contractor bids, and they were all Vermont companies. So that's good.
That is
great.
good. That's good.
Karina, there's I was thinking about the fellow David Shank, who is out of St. Albans. He did the armoring work on the Browns River last fall.
Yeah.
And doing work in rivers isn't his specific stock and trade, but he is interested, and he's a curious guy, and he's relatively young and willing to try new things. I think he'd be a good person to reach out to.
That's so cool. And that can make the difference. Like some of these contractors, if they might not have the experience, but they might have good recommendations and like have all the equipment they need. And if they can get their foot in this door, it can open up a window of opportunity for them. So. And
Willie Nolte too, another local Willie had bid on that armoring project as well. So he'd be another one we could reach out to.
That's what's so great about
that would be the construction or the deconstruction process rather than the engineering.
Right,
he wouldn't do the engineering, but he could do the actual removal work.
That's good. I mean, it's nice to know.
Yeah.
So what we need is a motion to accept the grant with in-kind services.
So moved.
Is that enough, or do we need more?
No, that's perfect.
All right, I'll second that. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank
We'll
you.
keep you posted as we move forward.
Sounds good, Karina. Thank you.
Okay, see you.
Thank you. I wonder if the person who came in and then it looks like another person came in with we're here for public to be heard, or
I'm not sure what all is going on there.
They left.
But they left. So I feel bad otherwise, because I would have asked, since it's a small agenda, I would have asked them if there's
my head out and see if
I would have asked them that they could have, spoken if it was public to be heard.
Yeah.
Because some people still think we're at 7.
Yeah.
They exited the premises, so it may be that they were wrong. They might have thought they were at the meeting that happened last night. I know she picked up the agenda. Oh, it could have been the meeting from last night. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'll do that in my updates. But anyway, so the next item is review and consider the Vermont State Police contract. And that has jumped significantly since the last couple of since last year. It had been relatively stable, but I certainly can understand why they've dropped the hours and up the cost because they're struggling to fill slots too.
Yep.
But you know, to go from 78, 60 and 11 and a half hours to 8808, 8806, excuse me, and then only 8 hours. However, dollar numbers are less.
Yeah. And that's the
Total anyway.
the slight silver lining.
Yeah, we have to remind people that this is strictly for traffic, and that the state police continues to service the town of Jericho for any crime that may be committed.
Yep.
Outside of this, not in part of this contract in any way.
Exactly. Exactly.
With that, I'll make a motion to accept the proposal from the Vermont Department of Public Safety.
For not to
Say the
exceed,
number?
yes, please.
For the contract total not to exceed $37,000.
I'll second that. All those in favor say aye.
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 Great.
Wow.
I have this for you to sign.
Updates already.
We are before 7 o'clock and at updates. This is
Wow.
this is
Whoa. Is there anybody that needed to say something that we haven't contacted? I feel like we're missing something. Is it just myself or is it all the select board? For the signing of that.
Oh, I believe it's a single signature.
Okay.
Let's see.
Okay, I'll get that. For updates, I will mention because you were gone last week,
Yeah.
Brad Holden reached out to me because they had thought that they were going to be able to have a meeting where they passed a resolution on the joint ARPA project requests. But in the end, they opted not to do that. So, but the idea is that we let people know we are working with Underhill toward either a joint resolution or a joint meeting to approve the joint project ARPA requests.
So on that, Catherine, I would propose sort of what I think Wayne was hinting at, and I wonder if he would say the same thing if you were here. That we just maybe on the next agenda,
Yeah.
we just approve it. We just approve 62.3% of the thing, and that way we don't have to try to coordinate two towns worth of people in the summer, and like.
Well, that's what Brad was hoping. They were thinking they were going to go first.
Yeah, but I mean, but rather than like have this like.
Because, and the other thing is, they're not going to have a full board until May. The earliest is May 24th.
Yeah. So I would propose we would just throw it on our next agenda and then we pass it and then they pass it. If they don't pass it, then we talk about it again, I guess.
But I think
we could give it a conditional pass, assuming
Yes.
Underhill passes, we are good.
Well, I think that's the point, because this is what I think they have approved already. He sent me a spreadsheet that, I can mention that if you wanted. I don't know tonight or we save it for next week.
Yeah.
But I think we just get it on the agenda.
It's all
And then
good.
that way we don't have to.
Yep, that's great.
coordinate.
And then they're not up now, but as you can see, we unfortunately do not have anything from the Affordable Housing Committee, because the artist that was going to help them put together the major project put on our walls ended up getting ill at an inopportune time. And so SJ apologized that they couldn't do anything, but but Linda has talked to me and she wants to put up all the posters and stuff from last night's town meeting, Lanapalooza, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
So that it's here all month, and then people can jog people's memory on, oh yeah, I can, do this, I can still do this, I can still do this. And so, obviously, she just has to put them back up.
Yeah.
Just put them up for, because they moved from the school over to here now.
Yeah, I think we're going to try to. I actually received an email request from Susan a few moments ago, and I think we also got a request from the elementary school. I connected Linda with some of the staff there. They want to bring a group of fourth graders who are doing a civics lesson in to see the displays.
Oh, that's
as a way
terrific.
to understand what's happening in the community, what a town plan is.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah, so
Very cool.
she's organizing that.
So
So I haven't had a chance to reach out to Jessica or any of the other town staff to get consensus, but my thought is that if we set something up along one of the walls where we're out of the way, it wouldn't be
and
intrusive.
and yeah, and if there's anything that they can hang on the walls, either with, sticky tape,
Oh yeah, that's an idea.
as long as you can pull it off without,
Yeah, they have foam backed
yeah.
placards that they made for the display last night. Maybe we could hang them.
Yeah, because you just
Using
need
the-
you use your push pins and then wrap some nice crochet thread on the edges and they'll hang.
Ah, there you go.
We-
Spoken like a pro.
So anyway, so after that, the town hall art project that's up for June, will be through June through August, and that's going to be celebrations. It hopefully it's been already advertised in 7 days for artists, and it's I think Sabina's put it on the website, and I just put it in Front Porch Forum. And then the Jericho Energy Task Force had a good turnout for Ms. Seth Iskins and the role of ruminants in reversing global warming. We had, it was videoed by MMCTV. We had it on Zoom, and there was quite a few people on Zoom.
Great.
And we had a pretty decent audience. And it was funny. He initially started with just some basic science and apologized that it was too much because I don't think he was used to it. And he was just blown out by the science in that room.
So he thought he was getting too into the weeds.
A lot of science minds. Everybody was on the edge of their seat.
Exactly. I mean, he was we had breakfast with him Thursday morning, Joel and I, because Phil couldn't make it. And he just couldn't stop talking about what an interesting meeting it was, and the impact that these people in the room had, in the knowledge that they had to add to this. And then Gary Davis from the Davis Farm was also there.
Oh, great.
And so on Thursday, Mr. Iskin went to spent time with Gary on the Davis Farm.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
So he had a really good adventure. And then he went down to bread and butter, bread and pickle.
Bread and butter farm.
Yep.
Shelburne.
Yeah. So he went there too. So
Cool.
Where's he based?
he's based down in southern part of the state.
Oh, okay. So he's in Vermont.
He is a Vermonter. That's why we thought we'd do the Hail Mary here.
Yep.
Because he is a Vermonter, and doesn't, usually his groups are pretty big, which is why he kept asking us to, get some other names. But we said, we're small, we're going to keep it small because there's no way we could get Bill McKibben to we can't afford him for one thing. But so, but on the other hand, he was so excited afterwards that, that this is another way to connect with the public about, farmers and ruminants are not a bad thing, that there are ways that it can work. And actually, they have proven it out west. And Gabe Brown, who is a rancher, has done side-by-side fields.
Yeah, interesting.
And then that prevents what happens on that interstate in Illinois or Indiana, where there was a huge pile of gabillion cars and all kinds of people, where it was a plowed field and all that dust came through and just completely shrouded this vision for everyone.
Wow.
And some of the new cultivation techniques and stuff prevent that as well, and actually feed the soil. So there's a lot of interesting things happening up with climate and ways to mitigate it that don't require, massive amounts of infrastructure.
Well, I heard you may have heard it as well. I heard an interesting piece on public radio yesterday about apparently a group of astrophysicists have been able to detect the implosion of a galaxy, a star actually collapsing and consuming all the planets in its orbit. So the assumption being that we may not be here forever. The big question is, what's going to come first?
Right.
Are we going to be responsible, or is the universe going to be responsible?
That's right.
kind of put some of our day-to-day problems in a larger perspective for me today.
I saw the link on it. I haven't gone to it yet, so that should be interesting then. So any updates yourself?
I do. So we had the JCDC meeting on Thursday. The entire agenda was to have Dave Mullen from Green Mountain Habitat for Humanity come. He did a great presentation, gave us a lot of information about what they do. Next step is to meet him at the site to start talking about what might be possible, what might be feasible, so we can start to put together what types of options are available. And that's really all we're looking to do right now. He did, since between then and now, he has gone out and looked, because one of the discussions we had was, I asked him, like, do you do rehab? Like, would you take a house and do rehab? And long story short, he went out and looked at it and said, I don't think this would be a good candidate for us to do that with this particular house.
So the thinking is that would say a single family home for a family then.
Yeah, I don't know what that means. It just means I was kind of envisioning like they do that one, make that affordable, and then maybe whatever else we do. But that would not be something that they would do. Okay. Doesn't mean we couldn't do it, and then we work with Champlain Housing Trust. It's just not one that they would take on.
Okay.
They do partner closely with Green Mountain Green Mountain Habitat for Humanity partners closely with Champlain Housing Trust. Okay. So they work together a lot.
Oh, okay.
This stuff. So, anyway, it was a very good meeting. Next step is I just need to find a time to meet him there and walk it. I mean, he's probably already walked it, but just kind of look at it, and then he's very interested in working with us to present some options. And he did have an action to get us some samples of, people were asking like what might a house that you built look like, and so he did send me some, so I need to get that.
I know the ones that they were looking at, that working on or going to work on in Underhill are very nice looking homes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so the question is, because I know I think they're only going to do duplexes or single family homes in Underhill.
They're doing single family. I went to that presentation that they did a few years ago, and they are all single family.
And is that by intention or is that a requirement?
I asked them that when I went to that. I asked them, like, why wouldn't you get a few more in there? Yeah. And of course I thought it was such a great question. Now I don't remember their answer. But they had a decent reason for not doing it, I guess is all I can say.
Yeah, because I like the idea of maybe a multifamily, at least one but it could look like one of these old farmhouses, and it could be you would not know it's multifamily because just the way old farmhouses ramble and have different openings.
Yeah. So anyway, good progress there. I had asked you at the last select board meeting to hold off on doing any more exploratory as far as like the soil and what it could take.
Septic capacity.
And the reason I had said that was because you hear all sorts of things. I thought I had heard somewhere that Green Mountain Habitat does it all.
Soup to nuts.
Yeah, and so they said, no, you absolutely is a good next step.
Oh, okay.
So I think moving forward with at least just getting the answer on what that soil can take, that will help us. That is the absolute next step.
Great.
We can continue on that.
That's great.
Excellent.
Yeah, because that will determine the number of bedrooms actually.
Yeah, it tells us what, it tells us with data what can and can't work there.
Right.
That is the only update that I had, other than, I don't know, are you going to do an update on the thing from last night? I was there.
You go ahead. Feel free. I don't think I have much beyond what you'll share.
I mean, I thought it was really well done. It was really well attended.
Yeah,
by it, for those of you watching, the town plan, what did they call it? The town plan
community forum.
Thank you. There were about, I think they counted a little over 60 people
that's terrific.
that came to the high school.
For a Wednesday night.
Yeah.
Because there are other things going on.
And they had like 6 stations to kind of go. It started out with like a presentation, maybe 20 minutes. And then it was like, okay, get up, go mingle, go look at these stations. There was a you know, an economy station, a natural resources station, all the things, very, very well done. I just thought it was really well done by all our, you know, affordable housing was there, the planning commission, it was very nice.
The
very nice.
consultants were there from
Oh, that's terrific.
from Portsmouth that David White works
Yeah.
in collaboration with, and
Yeah. So it
That's
was,
terrific.
so it was nice, and they, you know, they had pamphlets, so for every station, there was like, take a pamphlet, and there were some questions, and they, you know, we want to hear from them, and then also go to the website, and so.
That's terrific. So I'm glad we're going to put up the posters then so people can, who did not make it, because as I understand it, those who could not attend, they're going to have, you know, some kind of information left that you can, you know, tap into to see what happened and where things are.
yeah, I believe if I remember correctly, I think the consultancy said they're gonna aggregate all the information they got from hard copy, put it into a Survey Monkey format,
Yeah,
and
that's
then
right,
people who were not in attendance will then be able to enter their suggestions and information, and it'll all be located in one place for them to be able to evaluate.
That's great, because I reached out to Susan to let her know that I would not be there. And that I wish them well. And because it was also the Regional Planning Commission's executive committee meeting. And I went back and forth to, you know, who do I miss? Because, you know, this is really the future Jericho. But, you know, this is, you know, we're you know, coming up to the annual meeting and things like that. And since I have to leave, you know, I didn't want to miss that. So, you know, but I did apologize, and I wanted to know, I wanted to make sure that there was going to be information available, because I like to see what I've done is paid attention to MMCT after the fact on all these, because
Great.
otherwise it gets, people forget that I'm a human and can have my own answers, and I don't represent the select board.
That you're a resident in addition to
Yeah.
selecting.
Yeah.
So I tried, you know, I went, nah, it's just easier if I just do it after the fact.
Yeah.
Well, the select board was well represented. Wayne was also there,
Oh, that's good. I
which
mean,
was great. And
Yeah.
I was there. It was, I thought it was really well done. Linda did a great job.
Yeah.
Did a really nice sort of welcome and entry, and sort of
that's
created some opportunity for people to think about what the town could look like in the future. And yeah, it was exciting.
yeah, it was, my husband came home pretty excited about it. He thought you guys did it. They did just, he was just, fact is, it was, what was nice about what they did, he said, is that when you're asked just certain things, you know, what do you think about this? And you go, you know, but he said just the way it was done, boy, he had just lots of stuff to say.
Yeah.
Every topic. And he said, I didn't even have enough time to say everything I wanted to say, because he said there were so many interesting things that you could talk about and put input into.
Yeah.
And that, you know, and he had a nice, and Linda let me know today she had a nice time talking to Bill.
Oh,
as
great.
well.
I did too. I talked with him for quite a while too. And I got to talk with Linda and Susan, and yeah, it was nice. It's nice to be around people again. Remember
Yeah.
we used to do
Yeah.
that stuff?
Yeah, we really did. I mean,
It was a big gathering.
it was a really good thing. So John, what's,
I've got a few things. So as everyone's aware, Green Up Day is happening, annual statewide effort to empower citizens to clean up their municipalities and roadsides.
What day is it?
It's a 7th on Saturday.
This Saturday?
This
This
coming
Saturday.
Saturday, yeah.
breakfast is at 8:30.
Yeah, breakfast at 8:30. People been coming in, grabbing bags. Yeah, lots of excitement. This year primarily being organized by Tom Barabo and Sabina and the Conservation Commission folks. Yeah, Adam and his crew are ready to be on site. They'll be delivering garbage bags to, I mean, people will be bringing them. People can bring household items as well to the town garage until I think it's between 10 and 3 on Saturday. I did, you might have noticed, I did post on Front Porch Forum yesterday. I've gotten a couple calls of concern about roadside and household waste showing up. And I guess I haven't observed it. Well, I saw some yesterday myself, but I haven't observed it as an issue really over the years. But apparently it's not uncommon for people to put things out on the roadside knowing there's going to be a group of people cleaning it up the next day. Some of which can be disposed of, but other stuff is better suited for disposal at the Redmond Road facility and to be done on their own.
Yeah, and it's not uncommon to find, particularly in the outer areas, lots of tires.
Yeah, I remember we had an issue last year around this time with appliances showing up
Oh my
on
God.
Shillhammer Road. And I think, I think Adam.
That's a little.
Well, that's what I asked
Pushing
that
the
question
envelope.
about when the Chittenden Solid Waste District was here. I'm like, I understand that they've got to make money, and I don't blame them at all, but it's free to go dump it somewhere if you don't get caught, right? And so the more you charge, I understand that, but
Right.
that's sort of the consequence of
That is a
of that
disincentive.
race. And that's why there are tires in the river and tires everywhere, because it costs money to go get rid of them. And
But moving into appliances, that's really a new level.
yeah,
Yeah.
well, they're expensive. I mean,
That's
if
true.
you brought 2 air conditioners once, and I think it was like $40. Oh my God.
Oh my God, yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's still the right thing to do, everybody. Please do that. But
Yeah.
I do worry about.
Yeah, and it's one thing for, families and kids to walk along the roadside picking up debris, or people throwing out their McDonald's things. So that happens a lot on these back roads. But, when you're talking about people having to deal with appliances and things like that, because some towns do pick up the green bags. We do not. And that,
Right.
we need to mention that the town does not pick up the green bags.
Yeah, they've been.
You have to go to the green bags. You take your green bags to the town the town garage,
Yeah.
but some towns actually do go around.
Yeah.
And that's why I've seen the postings this year that they're looking for volunteers with pickup trucks to do that. And when we used to have a pickup truck, that's what we did.
Yeah.
And then
And
we would take it over to the town garage.
Yeah, and I'm not clear if the volunteers, if those are for delivering bags initially, or if it's just to get a couple people to kind of sweep the roadsides at the end of the day to make sure that nothing's been left behind.
I hope it's that, because that's what we used to do in our area, because there are folks who just like, other towns, you put it out, you cleaned it up, you leave it alongside the road and pick it up. But
Not necessarily the case.
that's not necessarily the case. And then
Yeah.
somebody's stuck with it days later.
Couple other quick things. We've had a couple of repeat dog incidents. There's a dog that is owned by a Jericho resident that we're trying to identify, who Jen Silpy Katz from Underhill has graciously been functioning as animal control officer in the absence of having a current officer here in Jericho. I mean, it was serendipitous. It's not like anyone directed the concern to her specifically. This particular dog she had dealt with before.
Oh dear.
But it does create an imperative to move along on the contract for animal control. Brad Holden has identified an organization that does private animal control and impoundment, and we're awaiting a proposal from them that would include, again, the 2 towns and some kind of proportional contribution on an annual basis. So hopefully we'll have that ready to be put in front of our select boards on the near horizon. And lastly, if you haven't seen the statement of diversity and inclusion that the DEI committee authored and the select board approved, is that our last meeting or was it 2 meetings ago? I couldn't recollect, but
I think it was 2 meetings ago.
the SJ as a representative of that committee and Sabina worked to get the statement published on the town website.
Oh, good.
At the entry point of the homepage. So that's good news too.
That really is.
Oh, and we being Brian, Amy and I attended a webinar yesterday for the LCT webinar on government financing for select boards, kind of a FYI and FAQs for select boards in regard to legality around creation of budgets, appropriation, tracking. And I believe I forwarded you all the slide deck. So if you have an opportunity to review it, great. We have it as a resource. I don't, obviously a lot of the information is still new to me given the length of my tenure. I don't think there was a lot of earth-shattering new info for Brian and Amy to digest, but it was a great
good
sort of reminder and yeah, an alignment exercise. And yeah, I think that's it from my quarter.
That's good.
Okay.
You know, it's the fellow who just happened to be here, serendipity. Is there an issue that he wanted to talk about under other business or something, or it just happened to want? I'm not used to having people just come to select board meetings to watch select board meetings.
I think she's asking Jason, are you good?
Oh, thanks, guys. I am good. I just am trying to. I think collectively our group is committed to following what's going on Railroad Circle, and we're kind of divvying up who's going to which meeting. So we appreciate the update, and yeah.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, most of the time
we're not used to lurkers, Jason.
That's right. We're not. I mean, it's wonderful when people actually come to meetings. I mean, that's what throws me.
Usually these people show up where they're energized and concerned about something.
Exactly.
Thanks for being out there.
Thank you for coming to a select board meeting. Very quiet one, in fact. Yeah, oh, that's great. So since there is no other business and we've cleared up my confusion, we have then just approved the warrants, the minutes, and the executive session. So for the minutes, we start on page 1 where we have the date is April 25th when it was really April 20th.
Oh, always catch that stuff. It's so important, and I like skip by it every time.
Well, you know, I mean, that was. I
didn't actually read them all this time. I will admit, I did get through a little ways, and I found one, but now I just can't find it.
Yeah, most of it was I thought really quite good. I had line 164. Let's see. Oh yeah. Said where we're talking about we're still with the Palmer stuff, and it says putting aside what involves money, legal fees, easement documents. It says Bill said the fact that it is in a floodplain is another issue. Bill, so the question is Bill who? Because there's no Bill in the in the attendees, and I wondered if it was actually Bob Hill that said that.
I don't know. That's a good point. I don't know who said that.
Yeah, because none of the discussion prior to that mentions a bill.
We can go back and look at the.
Yeah, because you want to make sure you got the right person.
Right.
And then of course the end is we need to have the adjournment where Eric moved and Wayne second to exit executive session at 10:08 p.m. The motion passed 3-0. No action was taken. Wayne moved. Eric seconded to adjourn. Motion passed 3-0 at 10:09 p.m. I gotta remember to send that over to you. Then it's easier.
Yeah.
10:08.
Yeah.
I know. I mean, we have potential of getting out before 10 o'clock tonight.
That'd be amazing.
It would.
I'll make a motion to I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as amended.
I'll second that. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And then we sign warrants.
I signed my warrants.
Okay, and then
So with that, I'll make a motion to go into executive session for reasons of which premature disclosure of information will be detrimental to the parties involved, and the reason is for personnel and legal.
I second that motion. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Good night, everybody.
Good night. Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for joining, everyone.
Have a good evening.